Cool.
We're live.
We're live and running. All tech is working, barring no mishaps. Good morning, welcome everyone to the iPECS Cloud Sales 7 webinar. I believe we're 11 minutes, 11 seconds late, so we'll probably hold off a few more minutes, just let the few late minute stragglers jump into the meeting, and then we don't need to do our cheese introductions today, do we? Because
No.
hopefully the screen's done it for us. So we'll leave it a few minutes. But yeah, welcome all in, and then we'll get going shortly. Just while we're waiting for the few people to come in, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, please pop it into the chats, and the various people within the business will monitor that. Jen, I think Josh is joining as well. So we'll keep having a look at that throughout the hour, and then we'll pick up any questions at the end, or maybe they might get covered during. But yeah, we'll leave all the questions until the end.
I'd say looking at the attendee count that's going up slowly, a lot quicker than the democratic vote.
Quicker than my run this morning. What are we on?
Should we crack on?
Should we begin?
Yes, let's start.
Cool, let's go. So again, welcome to the Cloud 7 webinar. These are all the features that we're going to discuss today that will be coming on the platform as of this week, I believe, Andy.
Yeah, I think we won't obviously steal our own thunder here, but I think this just gives the folks a good sort of top level view of where the updates sit. So applications wise, there's a number of bits happening around iPECS 1 and iPECS Analytics. We've got some what I would refer to as core platform updates going on as well, and we continue to see the enhancement around ACD, so what I like to refer to as contact center lie, informal contact center, whatever label you want to put on it. But I think in terms of competitive position, it puts us in a really strong place.
So there's a lot of really good positive updates following from last year on that as well, isn't
there?
Yeah,
exactly.
Perfect. So the first bit, we've got some core features to cover first, beginning with some multi-device stuff, Andy.
Yeah. So obviously, I think everybody can see from the image on the screen what we're talking about here. So the ability to pair up a 1000i with a third-party SIP device. I think for me, certainly the most common application here is the sort of top image we can see, where we've got a desk phone paired up with a decked phone. So if you think about our warehouse environment, so Matt, he would have a phone on his desk, but then obviously walking around, checking stock, getting things off the shelf, he's then got a Yealink SIP device. I say Yealink because that's what we sell, but obviously third-party SIP. So
I think another case as well, some of my partners sit in this industry where you've got like a car garage, and again, same situation where you've got an office where someone needs that capability, but then they also need the Yealink W73P for argument's sake. So that's probably the best use case, isn't it?
Absolutely.
For that.
And then we've got the outgoing CLI selection as well.
Yes, we do. So if we just pop forward one more. So a nice update coming on the platform. We can do this in a multiple of different ways, but from a handset perspective, what we've got here is the ability to change our outgoing CLI on the handset. So it would be the user default and up to 10 others, I believe, isn't it, Andy? Just a quick setting that changes that the guys can see on the screen. They can alter between the CLIs that particular user can present. They present that CLI, and then when they need to change, they can just come in and alter that as in when. So a couple of really good examples I can think of. If you've got an outbound sales team, for argument's sake, or you've got people that need to alter that across any given day, then this would be perfect for those different types of examples.
So it looks like we've got somebody with a hand up already.
Oh, it's a wavy hand.
We have indeed. Oh, Jen's also got a wavy hand. Okay, all right. So we have a question already. What we'll do, I think, is if we just wait till the end and run through the questions.
Yeah, so maybe people are dropping in. We did miss the bit at the start. Any questions that come in, pop them in the chat, and then we'll cover all of those at the end.
Yeah.
And then, as I said, Jen's on the chat from our sales team as well, so she can pick up any bits, maybe respond or highlight it for us at the end. Okay. But that's outgoing CLI from a handset. I think you're going to cover from iPECS 1 as well.
Yeah, so you'll see a sort of a common thread running through along these updates. So it looks like we've got a lot of activity already. apologies if you can hear the pinging. That's the responses coming into to some of the chats. But yeah, a common thread running through a lot of these features we'll see here is, for me, it's about user experience. So where we're putting features like CLI selection into the phones, we're also making sure that it's available through things like iPECS 1, sorry, web client, and iPECS 1 mobile client as well. So yeah, it's slightly different operation, of course, but yeah, the ability to perform that function's been added into
Yeah. I think you make a really good point there. I think we'll cover it a lot throughout the webinar. A lot of the features that have come in, certainly from my perspective, when we had discussions last week, are the user experience of, yes, we're bringing it on a handset, but it's coming to iPECS 1, so there's users can have different choice depending on how they want to roll these features out, which is really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the benefit of having such a mature platform, is that it's about enhancing now. We've got, it's built on a very firm foundation of functionality through that whole PBX heritage that we've got. So this is really about sort of thinking about the cake and then the icing on the cake, and then you put the sprinkles on the icing. So this is really about sort of tweaking some of these features and functions from a user experience point of view. And I think following on from the outbound CLI selection, we move into the call forward function, which I know is a bit of a favourite of yours.
Yeah, I like this personally. This would be something that I use or would use quite often from now on. So at the moment, as of now, we've got the ability to forward a call to one destination, but my problem with that would be if I'm out of the office, I'd forward it to a voicemail, and then I'd maybe go in. If I'm in a meeting, I'd need to change it to one of the other guys in the sales team, and I'm always altering between those destinations. Whereas now, as you can see, we've got up to 3 call forward destinations, so they can be preset. So I could have a voicemail maybe to another colleague or someone else in the team. So it's really easy to go into the web client, but also the mobile client. If I'm quickly going into the meeting, I need to change a few settings. So yeah, nice add-on feature that we've been able to bring into iPECS 1, I think.
And so for this, obviously, from your point of view, you say as a user, because it's preset and you can do it on the fly, just makes your life a lot easier in terms of being able to flick between, commonly used call forwards.
Exactly, yeah. So I think the one best use case would be if you just flick back on the right-hand side. So I've got, when I'm in the mobile client, great example, maybe going into a meeting, I quickly need to change something. Maybe it was to my voicemail before the call forward, but now it needs to go to Jen in the sales team. So I can have those preset and not going in and altering all the time.
And then if you're going for your lunchtime run,
quickly
for it
I'll get slapped on the wrist for that one, or even you. But yeah, nice add-on now. I think we've got some bits around time change mode.
Yeah, so again, I think it's core functionality, but again, we sort of talking about this user experience and making it easier to access these features. So again, this is about being able to change the time mode within cloud, and just dropping that into the iPECS 1 interface, so it's easy to do from within iPECS 1. Switch the time mode.
So in line with the handset side of things, we've obviously got that on a handset at the moment, but bring it into iPECS 1. And we've also got it from a mobile perspective as well.
Yeah, so obviously, as we've sort of said through all of this, on the next slide, we talk through the fact that it's also embedded into the mobile client as well.
Yes, we touched on a bit a moment ago with the altering the call forward destination, just on there. Yeah. Again, some great use cases for this. You think if you've got maybe a company director, they're quickly rushing out of the business on a Friday at 3 p.m. They've got time to faff around with a handset or go onto the portal. Really nice way on a mobile app. Go in, as we can see, change it to night mode. Done. So again, we offer that user experience, a nice change that we've been able to add. Multiple use cases that this would be beneficial: Christmas party, meetings, whatever, that sort of stuff. But yeah, not nice add on to the platform. I think we've got some bits around group voicemail as well.
So again, sort of this theme of user experience, but from the point of view, if you're a user that's part of a group voicemail environment, what we've done through the mobile client and through iPECS 1 web client is just enhance the interface, really. So anybody that's familiar with iPECS one will know that you get this sort of visual indication of your voicemails, when they're available. What we've now added in from this release is the ability to get similar notifications around group voicemails as well. So it's all visual, it's all there in front of you, it's all nice and easy to access
Nice,
at the click of a button.
Yeah.
So,
And I guess if you had a team, if one came in and there was a message and someone's read it, it's just going to quickly be able to see that people have read it, it's been dealt with. So if you've got a sales team or something like that, really
Yeah.
easy to monitor that sort of stuff.
yeah, exactly. And I think the next one is one that people have been crying out for a while, to
Yeah.
be fair. But it's good feature though.
Cool. And I think over the last month, and I've been doing a lot of training sessions with partners and stuff, this has been the one that's probably a lot of the features, maybe the core features that has really stuck out. It's been like, right, yeah, nice that we've got this now. So we do this from a couple of different ways, but what we've got here is calls are on a 1000i handset. And the example is maybe we are rushing out to a meeting or we're going to lunch or we need to go out of the office and we need to come away from the handset. We want to stay on the call. We don't want to park it or anything like that, but we need to get onto a mobile device in most cases, I think. So we just come onto the mobile client, as we can see, small call switch button top right, click on that. The call will pull over to the mobile device seamlessly.
Yeah.
And we've got that call. So great for user experience, retaining the call, good for customer service in different types of environments where you're looking to use it. So yeah, nice feature again, Andy. And I think we can also do it the other way as well, can't we? So iPECS 1 to 1000i.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what I would say about this feature is don't want to do it down in any way. But I think a lot of the folks on the call will probably remember when we had UCE on the platform. So this is a bit of sort of a catch-up type feature for me. And hands up, we should have had this probably a lot sooner. But it is what it is, and we're there with it today. But yeah, this is kind of the opposite, really, of what you were saying. So not only can we put it from a desk phone onto the client, this is kind of almost the opposite scenario. So I'm driving into work in the morning, I'm on a call with you on iPECS 1 on the mobile, get into the office, fire up the laptop, sit down at my desk, and now I can pull the call from the mobile client
onto your nice big 10 LTI handset that you've got on your desk.
Exactly
that.
So
nice that we got it both ways, absolutely.
Yes.
Brilliant. And now maybe more so away from a user feature aspect that we've come on the platform, more like a back end thing we've got here, isn't it? Yeah. So what we have the ability to do is block calls based on the CLI. So how it would be uploaded onto Portal, like a bit of a spreadsheet view of CLIs that have come into the business previously. We can upload these, and then any call that will match one of those CLIs that we've added on, the user will just hear error tone. So the inbound user will hear that. So great for if you've got maybe spam calls coming into the business or loads of marketing calls, which has happened before. We can upload a nice document. It'll just block that call. So more of a back end bit, but a lot of the guys on here nice for those type of environments, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Which I think is similar to the final feature in this section, actually, which is the enhancement here around holidays. And this is really just about being able to map out holidays and scheduling for up to 10 years. So really, for me, this is more about when you're in the platform, when you're finishing you're finalizing the setup for the customers. This is kind of a sort of a time saving type function, really, for the sort of more technical part of the channel where they're doing the final setup. So a good feature. This again, something that's been asked for a lot, but hopefully something that's going to help our partners and their customers in terms of time saving.
How do you think as well, when you've got customers, maybe not so when you're looking to win a deal, but when you've got a customer, they're maybe a year in and it gets to that new stage of the year and you need to go in and change it. It adds that whole good experience to the customer when they're on board, isn't it? You've got it for 10 years now. That's probably 2 lengths of a contract, isn't it, for most businesses? So nice feature to add in. And I think now we're going to cover some of the security bits. Got a lot of bit around security, haven't we, Andy?
Yeah. So I think happy for you to sort of go through some of the detail here, but I think just for me to sort of kick off this slide, I think probably again, like a lot of people who've joined us today, and I think about my day-to-day business activities, so much more of what we're doing now and the software and the applications we're accessing on a day-to-day basis have some sort of two-factor authentication. I look at we use the Microsoft Authenticator app here, and if I look at that, I've probably got
You've got a
four,
long
five,
list.
six
Yeah,
different sets of things set up in there
absolutely.
for what I use on a daily basis. I think this is it's a great update, but for me, this is also about sort of aligning to customer expectations. They're using this kind of thing on a day-to-day basis. Expectation is that when they come to iPECS Cloud, we're going to support something
Yeah.
similar.
And just to touch on that before we skip on, I think the big thing that sticks out with the security thing from our perspective here is really simplifying it for the user. So if they are working as we've had currently on the platform, we've got it from a Microsoft stage and we'll skip on to now from a Google environment, but it's giving users that choice, isn't it? So rather than coming in and logging in with the iPECS 1 credentials, we've now got choice between Microsoft and Google. So just align with guess what users and customers would expect, isn't it?
Yeah, I think obviously we and I use the we generally here, in terms of us and our XNLG sort of led with the Microsoft piece because that's clearly the most widely utilized side of things that we come across. But and equally in the past sort of 12 to 18 months, we're coming across a lot more customers who are using Google, and in fact, two of our vendor partners are Google houses as well. So it makes sense that the single sign-on facility that we've been sort of gradually expanding from a Microsoft point of view, we're now extending to that Google environment as well.
I think to touch on that point as well, I've certainly had a lot of demos over the last 2, 3 months where this is come up, not necessarily the Google piece, but the Microsoft bit. There's been a couple of Google instances where you've been in front of an IT manager. It's not necessarily going to win the deal, but when we get into those nitty-gritty bits of when we're going into detail on the platform, it sticks out because they just want to simplify it for those users, don't they? And now bringing this in, I'm sure there'll be opportunities where this will be really prevalent and useful for
Yeah,
customers.
exactly.
But we've also got a bit around Google Workspace
Yes.
as well, haven't we? So directory. So have this from a Microsoft perspective, but if people are working from like a Google environment now, Google Workspace, more of like a back end thing, but a nice add-on. We can take the company directory from Google, bring it into the portal, upload that, so users can simply pull that in. It's quite simple just to bring it into that environment, isn't it? So they can have a good experience, have those contacts within the system. They're not manually doing it. So a nice automated feature from align with the Google bit to bring into the platform.
As we've been able to do with the sort of back-end Microsoft environment for a while now, and that's good. And so I think sort of the final part on this section is really sort of just to summarize where we're at. So obviously single sign-on from a Microsoft perspective, we've pretty much covered everything now that we can do on the platform. From a Google perspective, we're pretty much aligned, and whilst I appreciate there might be some sort of collective groans in the background that analytics is missing. All I would say is there's a finite amount of resources to get this stuff deployed and available on the platform. So just bear with us. The plan is to have analytics there within the next 12 months. It could come sooner, but obviously, I don't manage Ericsson LG's timescales and resource. Yeah, but it's recognised that we want to get there and have parity across Google and Microsoft.
It's great that we've now got the alignment now. I think last year we brought out the Microsoft, wasn't it, in Cloud 6. So 1 year on, we've got the Google bit just to align with what people would expect, I guess, isn't it?
Exactly.
We've got some bits coming up around ACD, lots of exciting stuff around ACD coming.
Yeah.
So from a multi-client perspective, I think this is one where probably got a few people having a little wolf whistle on the call.
That's just because you're on it, mate.
Sorry. But from before, I guess we've had a single client. So if you've got an ACD user, they can either have a 1,000 handset or iPECS 1. But now we can obviously bring that under one extension. So we've got 1,000 handset paired with iPECS 1. And there's lots of different multiple use cases where this would be great for customers. One I can think of, if you've got a bit of a hybrid worker, so they may be in the office for 3 days, they're at home for 2 days. They're on a 1,000 handset when they're in the office. They don't want to pack it in their bag and lug it home. When they get home on that Thursday, Friday, they're going to use the web client. So perfect to be able to do that. to make people aware, this isn't the ability to
It's not
keep
simultaneous.
altering between the two throughout
Yeah.
a day. So when you go home on that day when you want to use the iPECS 1 client, you'd come in on the user portal, select a preferred device, and you make calls on that product. So great to be able to offer people choice, to bring that under one extension. I know this has come up a lot over the last couple of years, certainly for my partners and definitely speaking for Mark and some of his on the call. Nice feature, Andy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, continuing this underlying theme, as we mentioned about, user interface, from an ACD perspective, we continue to make sure that user experience is, seamless across all of the environments that we've got. We've got this the call control side of things, but being able to log in as an ACD event agent through iPECS 1, and then obviously onto the mobile client as well. So, and I think it's really important here because I know we sort of very briefly touched on it at the beginning, about, as I said, whether you want to call it call center light or informal or midway, halfway house, as you call it. The fact is that I think, the exciting piece here for me is that our sort of onboard contact center functionality continues to get enhanced. And when you consider some of the sort of competition that we go up against on a regular basis, we're able to deliver some really, really strong ACD contact center type functionality through the platform. Whereas, competitive platforms, they're quite often in a position where they're having to deploy a full-blown, multi-channel contact center just to get anywhere near some of this sort of basic functionality. So
I think we were having the conversation as well the other day where you've got those industries where they don't need that multi-communication.
Yeah.
Look at dental practices, customer service environments. They don't need Facebook and WhatsApp and email, but they just need to be in various groups. They need to log in and out of those. They need a status. They need some wrap-up time. A supervisor needs to have view of that. And this is where I think ACD, as in, sits in that environment where we do really, really well with this, isn't it? And to have these features continuing to be added, keeps us in a really strong place, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that on the next slide, obviously we talk through the ACD for mobile as well. So
yeah, it's a bit from a mobile perspective. So I don't think this would be as much of a is used as maybe the web client or the handset, but definitely some nice features that have been added within here. So I think use cases to be able to come in, see an agent ID, come in and out of those different queues. But maybe if you're on your web client and you've headed out to lunch and you've maybe forgot to put yourself as unavailable or on lunch, you can quickly come and do that on the mobile client. I think we've got a lot of really strong updates on ACD, but this would be one of those ones where wouldn't have the highest percentage of use, but in some cases it's nice to have, isn't it? If you need it, it's great to have.
Yeah, and then which leads us on to this one. So I've seen already some of the attendees on the call today have probably been around for quite a while. I have in this industry, and this for me is quite old school in terms of what it delivers, but with this sort of modern edge on it from the point of view. It's through the app, and it's very visual, but I would have in old school parlance have referred to this as barge in, but this is so on left hand side we can see what we've supported for a while now, which is the silent monitoring and the whisper coaching, which is that kind of sort of, again, very strong contact center functionality that we can deliver through a relatively low cost analytics and ACD license. And that kind of really is that sort of the training aspect of the agent. But now we have this ability to, if needs be, for a supervisor, a senior manager to be able to barge in or join the call. So a good scenario really would be where you might have an agent on a very difficult call, could be an abusive customer, or just a very difficult situation. We're able to have the silent monitoring or whisper coaching, but if necessary, then the supervisor has the ability to join that call lifetime.
Like you say, if you've got someone that you have a new starter, or you've got some ongoing training, or it is maybe a really difficult customer, or you just need to support your team member or offer some help and they're not sure on something, nice way to rather than transfer part of that same call. A nice add-on feature.
And I think it's just important to reference here, because obviously we've got analytics mentioned on the screen here. So I think it's just key to make sure that people understand that the join call piece is initiated from within the analytics app and menu. So it kind of it would require both the ACD license and analytics. But as I say, this for me is about continually enhancing our sort of core contact center type functionality
Absolutely.
that we can deliver in the platform. So
I think we move on nicely to apps and call stats, haven't we?
yeah,
In terms of personal use. So really nice option this. I know we have some similar aspect on the Connect product, but if we want something to view what I'm doing personally, I want some high level stats. A couple of different ways I can do this from iPECS one or analytics. So customer service team, maybe a sales team, or people handling a lot of call traffic throughout the day, they can quickly come in and see how many calls they're making, how many calls they've received, the average ring time, that sort of information. So easily accessed from a couple of different ways, as we can see here. So the iPECS one client and analytics. I think you're going to cover how some of these might have a bit of a look and feel and how we can
yeah.
filter between.
And I think you've also already touched on this kind of hybrid working environment where this could be quite useful as well. So if you've got some agents who are, spending time working at home and they're not necessarily in front of a live wallboard in the office and seeing the stats, you've got some access to at least be able to see kind of from a personal point of view. So, on here we're looking at the fact that there's different filter options available to you to be able to see sort of different types of options, and also around like the call details as well, being able to select different metrics on different call options. So it's a really good snapshot for a user as to how they're performing from an agent perspective.
Definitely.
Which is really good. And I think for me, the sort of final feature and probably the sort of the one that I think is probably the most exciting here is the update to the queued callback.
Yeah, really strong, really strong update. We had obviously this come in last year to the ACD platform. So as most people will be aware, we have the ability to do queue callback, but it would be on the number that user's dialed in on.
Yeah.
So they don't have an option to that call to go elsewhere or if it's come back in elsewhere. But similar situation. I think of lots of different use cases for this, but if a user is calling a dental practice, they need to book an appointment, they're number 20 in the queue. They've called off a home phone and they know that in 15 minutes time they're going to be in the car when they probably received that call back.
Yeah.
So now really simple for the user to key in maybe their mobile number, they're going to be in the car, retains the position in the queue. When they receive that call back, they're in the car on the mobile device. It gets pushed out to the user. So giving people the option now, do you want to have that call back on the number you called on, or does it want to be, or would you like it to be a different device? So again, strong feature where a lot of platforms would maybe do this with a contact center product, but
exactly
where we can now deploy it, or we can deploy this with the ACD license.
It's good to, obviously great use case there, but again, I think it's worth pointing out that from a competitive positioning point of view, in terms of where we're at, other products out there, many of which we looked at when we brought Contact into the portfolio, would have to deliver a sort of a full-blown contact center experience here to be able to deliver this kind of
Bring this one
functionality.
feature.
And I think it's important to point out here, we keep talking about the onboard contact center functionality. What we're not doing here is advocating that people don't go and position Contact, but what you've already alluded to it. There's a number of opportunities out there that we come across that customer service type environments, but don't necessarily lean towards that full omni-channel.
They just need those voice features, don't they?
Exactly.
That's the thing. That's the key thing with it. They don't need multi-communication. They just need strong voice features with some add-ons for different environments.
Yeah, exactly.
So good feature. Then we've got some
on to
nice bits around iPECS one.
Yes, indeed. So I think probably the headline one here is this particular update. So I've lost count of the number of requests we've had for this over pretty much since the day that we
managed.
I said I've lost count.
Oh, 80?
Bit more. No, the fact is that this is something that's been asked pretty much since day one, and this is about how the contacts are presented on screen. So we're now able to offer the ability to tile those contacts. It's a much more user-friendly view of the contacts. A point to make here, I guess, which is an important one, is that because this impacts all instances of iPECS 1.
Mhm.
So we've got, I don't know, today something like 45, 46,000
Yeah.
live iPECS 1 licenses. We had to make a decision on what the default was going to be.
Mhm.
And because of the overwhelming feedback we've had, we decided to go with the tiled display. Why
Mhm.
is this important? Well, because from the day that we go live over the weekend next week,
Yep. So Monday morning.
when the users who have already got iPECS 1 come in, log on, their view will change to
Yeah.
tiled display.
I
It's
think
not an
I'm right
issue.
in saying
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
can
So
go in, and I think you can see at the
the
top,
top right
alter
hand
back
corner,
to the
yeah,
current.
yeah. There's a top right hand corner of this particular graphic. You can see the call out. So if
Yeah.
someone doesn't want or doesn't like the tiled display, they can switch back quite easily.
between the
So
other.
yeah, but is it the biggest feature in the world? No, but it's again about improving the user experience.
choice as well, isn't it?
Important. Yeah,
If they still
exactly.
want what they've currently got, then that's fine. But if the feedback we've had to
Yep.
go to this model, then perfect, would work well.
Exactly. And I think the next one really is another one around aligning to
Yeah,
their,
with other
with
platforms, I
other
think, isn't
platforms.
it?
Yeah.
So some new changes to the chat feature functionality. So as Andy and I said, some of the aspects we've got here are aligning with other chat products that you'll be familiar with, such as like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, those type
Yeah.
of things. So three that we've got here, first and far right would be the ability to see if a user's read that message. So if I message Andy, I can see whether he's read it or not, and he's completely just ignoring me. And then I can see when Andy's typing to me. So I've got a live typing status on the bottom, and also a bit of our interactions with emojis. So I can do thumbs up all the time when you're messaging me,
Yeah.
to align with those other platforms. So again, not the biggest updates, but nice to have. So we align with what users expect, isn't it?
That polishing what we've got. So that's the sort of two key bits we wanted to cover from an iPECS 1 perspective. And I think final
Some nice bits around analytics, haven't we?
final section, yeah. So analytics.
A few wolf whistles on the call with this one.
But well, I hope so. Again, this is about, I think with analytics particularly, we all need to understand that, when you look at who we compete against, highlighting products such as a Kixi and Tollring with years and years and years of development behind it, where analytics has come from since we launched it, I think is nothing short of, a miracle in many ways in terms of how we've developed this product in such a short space of time. And I'm really proud of the product that we've delivered. But naturally, because of that sort of short space of time, there's going to be gaps that we needed to fill. And the demonstration piece is something that people have been asking for quite a while now. And yeah, look, it's taken a bit of time, but these sort of canned demonstration tools for something like analytics take a lot of work, because they're working on sort of dummy data sets, and it needs to look and feel as real as possible when you're delivering those dems. So yeah, as of next week, we'll have the ability to set up demonstration environments for our partners.
Brilliant.
Probably, I sort of say this is really good, and I'm immediately going to present some things. Just beware though. But there are some exceptions, and so we can't do things like real-time wallboards and the call control menu because it is a canned environment. But for 90% of the opportunities and 90% of those requirements, this is going to be a demonstration tool that will help, show those customers what this tool's capable of.
Yeah, I think I alluded to it earlier. Done a lot of training to cover these aspects with partners over the last month, and this is one of those things where if you're speaking to sales guys and they're in a meeting, the customer says, "Oh, can you quickly show me how the incoming call traffic looks on a wallboard?" That might be that at the moment they'd maybe go into a video on YouTube, or they'd say it, or they'd quickly call one of us. Whereas now they can have access to it. They don't need to log into the house system and maybe uncomfortable with that. Go into some call data, get used to what the tool is showing. So just I think it's a really nice add-on to be able to add.
Yeah, and we'll start working with the partners from next week, to start getting these demo interface instances, even quite easy for me to say, set up. So yeah, I say everybody keep your eyes open for that next week, and we'll start the setup at that point.
Fantastic.
I think from a user environment, a user interface point of view, there's some other subtle enhancements going on within.
So I guess under that, the company summary section of analytics, where we've got some of that high level core data. And for me, what sticks out here is we've still got that high level information, but I think the key thing to point out is giving users different views and different options of how to view this information. So you can see at the top, we've got some enhancements around the measurable KPIs in terms of wallboards. We've got some charts which people can see, pie charts. And if you had a customer service of average ring time, we've got some alterations for that. And along the bottom, as people can see, I guess the other one that we've changed within here is the graphs as well. So giving people nice high level overview, but to view the metrics within the business in different ways, in different instances, isn't it?
Yeah, and for me, this again, it's about that sort of visual impact of the tool, having key information available instantly as you sort of go into the summary and having that available at your fingertips. The one thing I would say here, by the way, just to sort of underline everything we're talking about, is that analytics of all the products within the Ericsson LG sort of ecosystem, so to speak, it is probably the one product that's got the busiest and biggest roadmap of updates and what have you over the next, well, I mean, ongoing, but certainly, we're Cloud 7 today.
A lot of open feature requests.
I'm already working on Cloud 8, which is a year away.
We've got to get used to this first.
Well, exactly, but that's sort of the volume of updates that we're looking at. So, there's a lot more to come from this product.
Brilliant. And you think it's only what, three years since we launched this?
Something like that. Yeah.
Got some bits around improved UX. So I think this would be if you have this on a wallboard, so customer service team, sales team, large wallboard, you can see what we have the capability to do now is edit those. The font size essentially, make it bigger, make it bolder. So if you're 20 meters away from that wallboard, you can clearly see what's happening. Office. Yeah, it's a big office. Go to some big offices for demos, Andy. But yeah, again, for customer experience, user experience, are nice to have just to bring on to the wallboard environment, I think, isn't it?
And again, I think, talking about roadmap, when you're looking at this sort of wallboard environment, we've done enhancements here, but this is another area where there's a lot of attention and focus in terms of how can we improve this going forward. So, we're looking at more colorations and customizations going forward. So this will only get better and better as well.
I think not long to go now, we're coming into land, aren't we?
We are, yes, indeed.
We're saving the best till last.
I hope so. Well, I hope it's all been good to be honest with you. Yeah, I think we've got two more to look at here. So again, another one which I hope will be very popular with our partners is this partner customer access account. So the ability for them to simultaneously log into an end user customer account, and this is really about them being able to provide support and training to their customers. Yeah, exactly. And something, again, as I say, we've been asked for a number of times. We're aware that competitive products support it. We're there. We've got this. We're able to deliver this now, and hopefully a function that the partners would be really excited to see, along with the final feature that we've got in the analytics lineup. If our beautiful assistant can move the slide on for us. Honestly, one job.
The wheels are down. One job.
And so
wallboard license.
Yeah, and so that's the wallboard license. And again, hands up, we recognise this is something we've been asked for a while now, and needed. And Cloud 7 delivers that. And I think, there's no more of this need to have to configure multiple supervisor licenses on a deployment just to be able to get the different wallboards and what have you. So a standalone wallboard license being available as of next week. So big news for us.
Yeah, definitely. You think those environments where you've got, like we touched on, sales floor, multiple screens around the building, you need to deploy, 4 or 5 supervisor licenses, and it just prices people out sometimes, doesn't it? So now, fraction of the cost, we can deploy wallboard license in those environments to hopefully help win a few more deals, which is brilliant. And I think the wheels are down. We've landed onto the questions, and I'd imagine we've got 20,000 questions, Andy. If we've covered it well, we
haven't actually, but I think our beautiful assistants have done a fantastic job of answering these questions as we've been going. So I'm just going to have a quick scan down here. So Josh has.
We had a few, didn't we?
My PC. Thank you.
Any more for any more? We've got a hand up. No,
I think
it's gone down now. just hanging there.
Um,
We'll hang around for. We've got one.
does Pragma integrate with 365 to
Yes.
automate your presence?
So from a Connect perspective.
Jen's answered it for us.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, maybe to give a bit more meat to the bone on that one. Yeah, we could look to do that with Connect, can't we, Andy? So connecting your Microsoft calendar into the product.
Yeah.
Real-time presence. So if I have this meeting in my diary from 9:30 till 10:30, it's going to show meeting name and then key bit what time that meeting were to finish.
Yeah.
So that would be with our Connect to iPECS cloud.
Yeah, I'd say definitely get a demo on that product to show the sort of power of what we can do to, obviously today we've talked through the enhancements we're delivering with Cloud 7. Connect is not directly an Ericsson LG product. It's on top of that. It's provided by an alternative partner, but for sure it's another step up in terms of some of the functionality we can deliver there.
Yeah.
So yes.
Any more for any more? Andy and I can hang around for a minute or two if you have any questions. But thank you so much for joining us today. I'd imagine this webinar will be recorded and uploaded shortly to the hub.
And we're going live over the weekend.
Sunday,
so 7
Monday morning.
7 will be live from Monday morning.
Yeah,
so
fantastic.
The announcements.
So Monday morning, this will all be out to all your users on the platform. We have another question. Can you have to log in to all devices to use simultaneously? Maybe if you want to hang on, Justin, we can clarify that when the guys go what you mean by that. But thanks so much for joining. Really appreciate it. I hope you find the session informal and look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you too. Thank you, everybody. And
Elliot, just a quick one. There was a question that came in for Tracy, which is actually probably more for Raf. Tracy's asked whether there will be a communication to be sent out about the change of the tile view. I said I don't believe there is one. I said that we've just put it on the publication over the last couple of weeks to give people enough time. I don't think there's actually a set publication.
No, correct.
Thank you.
I think what we'll do, some of these questions we're probably going to need to just take away and double check. So what we'll do, Justin, David, leave these with us and we'll reach out to you directly afterwards and we'll confirm. And probably when we send out the notification of the recording, we'll compile a list of the questions that were asked and we'll make sure that they're all covered off when we follow up.
Perfect. Thanks so much for your time. Hope you find it informal and see you all soon. Thank you. Goodbye. And that's a wrap.